Hey everyone, welcome back to Glen Forge. Today we are going to be interviewing Ms. Caitlin at Ms. Caitlin's School of Blacksmithing here in Frederick, Maryland. So let's head on inside and check out the forge. I'm here with Ms. Caitlin. Thank you for having me here for this little interview slash documentary. So I would like to start off by asking, what exactly, what's your story? Why did it come to be a teacher of your own blacksmithing school?
Great question. First off, thank you so much for having me. I
Awesome.
really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's such an honor to be here at Glen Forge's channel.
Thank you.
I'm super excited to talk to you about my school.
Awesome.
I started Miss Caitlin's School of Blacksmithing in 2015. I got started teaching because I felt like I had something really unique to bring to the world, which is my incredible struggle at learning blacksmithing. Because when I first got started blacksmithing in 2009, I was really terrible at it. Like, I was not understanding what was happening. I was having a very difficult time getting the metal to do the thing that I wanted it to.
Absolutely.
And so it was very helpful for me to sort of get an understanding of not only how the metal moved, but also how humans learn, you know? Because knowing how to work with a particular person's psychology and neuroscience helps them to pick things up faster.
Okay, right.
So I actually was sort of in a position where I was teaching on a sort of informal basis shortly after I started blacksmithing. Because where I was able to go practice, they required that I bring a buddy with me. And since I didn't know anybody in blacksmithing at the time, I was kidnapping my friends.
There you go.
Dragging them along.
Yeah.
You know,
Help you understand.
Yeah.
Help me build my skill, and I'll help you build your skill, and then we'll both get good enough to maybe teach each other something different from one another.
Yeah, and it was so helpful because, you know, at that point I knew just enough. I'd taken just enough classes that I knew how it was taught. And so I was able to see, you know, just by teaching my friends, what sorts of things some people picked up on really easily and some things that they didn't pick up on quite as easily. And so really dive into, you know, okay, so why didn't this person pick up on this? Why is it easier for this person rather than that person? And really dive into that, the nuance of teaching blacksmithing.
That's a good way to go about it. That was definitely a really good idea to get you to have your friends come along with you, because having the different perspective, especially when you didn't have a formal teacher or anything, is another great way to learn, just to like teach yourself to improve, because everyone's experience with this type of art or type of work is, I think, completely unique, or their interpretation of it or what they're making and how they make it is completely unique. So
one of the very best exercises that I had, I would say in the middle of like that transition for me from beginner smith to intermediate smith, was that somebody handed me an entire coffee can full of hooks that beginners had made and asked me to take these hooks and reforge them so that they were functional hooks. Because one of the things that's super fascinating is that in that early process when folks are learning blacksmithing, they get themselves into so much trouble, like doing things that no, more experienced smith would ever do, because there be dragons that way, you know.
Yeah.
Very scary, challenges. And these beginners, would hit this point where it was like, I just don't know how to fix this anymore. So they'd abandon these hooks and they got all collected, and then it became my job to fix them. And it was one of the most fascinating experiences that I had, because a lot of these hooks had some really magical stuff going on. Somebody really was playing around with that metal and did some really cool stuff with it. But there was a challenge, they maybe did things out of order, where they did the bend before they, managed to finish off the very end of the metal. And so that's a thought process that a beginner might be, interested in following, you know, like, oh, well, I need this hook to look hook-shaped. Well, they make it hook-shaped, and then all of a sudden they can't reach the ends, right? And as a more experienced smith, you know, okay, well, I want to make that bend happen much further down the road because that allows me to get in and do the things I need to do beforehand, right? But beginners don't necessarily know that stuff.
No, absolutely not.
I had actually a number of teachers, but I didn't have any one particular person that was my mentor. I had a lot of, I took a lot of classes. I went to a lot of different schools to take different classes. And one of the challenges that I ended up facing is that a lot of the tools were designed for people who were much bigger than I was. A lot of the, you know, the hammers, for example, were way too heavy for me to handle. Like, I would just burn out even a 2-pound hammer, which is a pretty standard size that folks will get started off with. That was way too heavy for me. And so trying to parse out, was it the tool that was too big or was I too weak, you know? And as a beginner, you just don't really know. You just don't know, okay, well, I'm never going to be good at this craft.
Yeah.
Is it the tool? Is it the tool that's not working properly for me?
It's definitely it's an arduous process. I mean, when I first started too, I get what you're saying. Well, for me, it was my patience, or like, you know, I wanted to make cool stuff. I wanted to do it now, but that's not how that works. You have to make a lot of mistakes, and you have to be very patient, no matter what it is. Even like, you know, even if it was like making a sword, which is like the antithesis of having a level of patience in this craft, but like anything, it's like, I get what you're saying. It's like, you know, you don't really know if you know, when it's frustrating, it's frustrating, and you have to like, either you have the patience for it, or you know, you don't.
Right. Well, one of the things that ended up happening with me is that as I was so bad at this at the beginning, you know, folks around me would see that I was struggling and would offer to help. And at the beginning, that was absolutely fantastic because I got the product done. The problem was that when folks helped me to do the thing, it prevented me from making the mistake and learning how to fix it. So I was like short-circuiting that process and missing a whole universe of learning there. Because truly, what differentiates the beginner from the intermediate smith is somebody who knows how to do that troubleshooting, who sees a problem, you know, a mistake,
yeah,
and knows what to do about it, catches it early on and fixes it. You know, all of these things require that you make all the mistakes there are to make.
Yeah, absolutely. It's intimidating. Sometimes people get discouraged really quickly because they'll be like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
That discouragement is exactly what happened to me. And I think it happens to so many people because they get into it, they're super excited about it, and then they start hitting that friction over and over again. You know, there's just too many barriers to get to the point where they're just effortlessly making the stuff that they want to make.
Right, absolutely.
And so from my perspective, that's such a really crucial time point to catch people, because we want these people in the craft, and if they keep running into this level of high frustration.
And they kind of will. They all, or no, they'll always will. Oh, that's what I meant to say, yeah.
and if they keep running into that level of frustration, they don't necessarily know that that frustration level is pretty normal. And
yeah.
Some, you know, coaching, some, you know, understanding of how the metal's moving can help get them past that.
How would someone come in to take your classes? Are you on any social media? You know, what, give you a little plug in here, apps, or yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Please
folks,
tell us.
I'm located in Frederick, Maryland, and I also teach across the country, so you may find me popping up near you. But if you come to take a class here in Frederick, Maryland, you want to go to mscaitlinschool.com. All the classes are listed there. You can sign up online. Nobody has to call anybody. It's all right there.
Awesome. Great. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having us. This is a lot of fun. This is a very nice school. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed.
Thank you.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.